Tonight I picked out one of my favorite books that I love to read to my son when he was little. He's old now, he's like 23. And even to my daughter, who's a lot younger. It's one of my favorites. It's called Owl Moon, and the author is Jane Yolen. I can remember my son especially, every single night before he went to bed, we would have to read this story. And over the years, I've had to buy so many different copies of it because I just wear them out. So I hope you enjoy Owl Moon. And I love the pictures in it too, so pay attention to the pictures for me. It was late, one winter night, long past my bedtime, when Pa and I went owling. There was no wind. The trees stood still as giant statues, and the moon was so bright the sky seemed to shine. Somewhere behind us, a train whistle blew, long and low, like a sad, sad song. And if you look really carefully in the picture, you can see that train way back in the distance, because remember it said, somewhere behind us, right? That's behind them. I could hear it through the woolen cap Pa had pulled down over my ears. A farm dog answered the train, and then a second dog joined in. They sang out trains and dogs for a real long time, and their voices faded away. It was as quiet as a dream. We walked on toward the woods, Pa and I. I will say that there's animals hiding in this picture. See, there's Pa, right? And then there's the little boy. Do you see the hidden animal? Our feet crunched over the crisp snow, and little gray footprints followed us. Pa made a long shadow, but mine was short and round. I had to run after him every now and then to keep up, and my short, round shadow bumped after me. But I never called out. If you go owling, you have to be quiet. That's what Pa says. I've been waiting to go owling with Pa for a long, long time. We reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky, and Pa held up his hand. I stopped right where I was and waited. He looked up, as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. The moon made his face into a silver mask. Then he called out, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo." The sound of the great horned owl. Hoo, 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 hoo. Did you like that sound, Daisy? Again he called out, and then again. After each call he was silent, and for a moment we both listened, but there was no answer. Pa shrugged and I shrugged. I was not disappointed. My brothers all said, sometimes there's an owl, and sometimes there isn't. We walked on. I could feel the cold, as if someone's icy hand was palmed down on my back, and my nose and the tops of my cheek felt cold and hot at the same time. But I never said a word. If you go owling, you have to be quiet and make your own heat. We went into the woods. The shadows were the blackest things I'd ever seen. They stained the white snow. My mouth felt furry, for the scarf over it was wet and warm. I didn't ask what kinds of things hide behind black trees in the middle of the night. When you go owling, you have to be brave. I don't want to think about that'd be scary, wouldn't it? Then we came to a clearing in the dark woods. The moon was high above us. It seemed to fit exactly over the center of the clearing, and the snow below it was whiter than the milk in a cereal bowl. I like how he compared the snow to a bowl of cereal milk, a cereal bowl full of milk. I like that, how he compared that, or she compared that to that. I like that. Did you see the hidden animal in there? Did I do it long enough? Do you see it? There it is, it's a little deer. I sighed and Pa sighed, and Pa held up his hand at the sound. I put my mittens over my scarf over my mouth and I listened hard. Then Pa called, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo." I listened and looked so hard my ears hurt and my eyes got cloudy with the cold. Pa raised his face to call out again, but before he could open his mouth, an echo came threading its way through the trees. Hoo, 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 hoo. Pa almost smiled. Then he called back, "Hoo, hoo, hoo, hoo," just as if he and the owl were talking about supper, or about the woods, or the moon, or the cold. I took my mitten off the scarf off my mouth, and I almost smiled too. The owl's call came closer, from high up in the trees on the edge of the meadow. Nothing in the meadow moved. All of a sudden, an owl shadow, part of a big tree shadow, lifted off and flew right over us. We watched silently with the heat in our mouths, the heat of all those words we had not spoken. The shadow hooted again. Do you see it? Do you see it? Right up there. Pa turned his big flashlight and caught the owl just as it was landing on a branch. For 1 minute, 3 minutes, maybe even 100 minutes, we stared at one another. Wow, isn't he beautiful? Wow, that would be so cool to do. Then the owl pumped its great wings and lifted off the branch like a shadow without sound. It flew back into the forest. "Time to go home," Pa said to me. I knew I could talk. I could even laugh out loud. But I was a shadow as we walked home. I wonder why he was a shadow. I wonder why he didn't want to talk. What do you think? Do you know why? Maybe. When you go owling, you don't need words or warm or anything but hope. That's what Pa says. The kind of hope that flies on silent wings under a shining owl moon. The end. Did you like it? I like this book. I'm not a big fan of snow, but for some reason this book just makes me feel so warm and cozy, especially this time of the year when it's so cold where I live. And so I just love Owl Moon, and I hope you enjoyed our story tonight, and we'll see you next time. Bye.